Hi everyone, welcome to the Stage 17 betting preview for the Tour de France, brought to you by Goodforthegame.co.za. Just a reminder of the special on at World Sports Betting. Back any rider to win any Tour de France stage, and if your selection doesn't win but comes second, they'll refund your stake as free bets. Obviously, just check out the T's and C's there. But it certainly is a great special that, particularly on a stage like today, we'll get into the betting in just a while. But we've got the two Slovenians at the top of the betting boards, and the way they've been running first and second when they go up against each other, it certainly is a good special to be able to take advantage of. Let's talk a little bit of stage 16, though, and it went pretty much as expected, a big battle to get into the breakaway. I did think that Bora might be able to keep things together for Peter Sagan, but he looks a bit tired at the moment. He battled, he tried a few times to get into the break himself, but Bennett sat on his wheel, and in the end, Trentin was the beneficiary. He managed to make it into the break and pick up the 20 points to get himself back into the green jersey race. Certainly quite close to Sagan. I don't think he can catch Bennett unless something goes wrong with Bennett. But let's see. Trentin was my podium pick at 11-1, so quite happy about that. Onto the stage itself, and yes, we had a fairly strong breakaway going clear. They built up a big lead over the peloton, and in the end, it was Leonard Kamna who was beaten by Rodriguez the other day. Well, he was too strong today for Richard Carapaz, who attacked him on the Cat 1 climb a few kilometers from the end repeatedly, and he just kept on coming back and eventually attacked himself over the summit and rode away for a fairly comfortable win, winning by 1 minute 27 seconds. Carapaz still not at his best, the last year's Giro winner, but it was a decent performance by him, and also a decent performance by Sebastian Reichenbach, who probably would have liked a few longer climbs on the stage. Pavel Sivakov, he was the first of my picks. Well, he managed to come fourth, but was never in contention to win it, or never looked like winning. And Warren Barguil was my other pick, both of those two at 50-1. They both came in the top six. Guess what? You don't get paid for that. So a bit of a disappointing stage for me. Just a reminder, if you look at the note below, if you haven't subscribed yet, do go and click the subscribe button on YouTube and make sure you don't miss any of our betting previews. And that includes our live rugby show on a Thursday night, the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. So anyway, it was an interesting stage. I did have one in-running bet, and I must say I regretted it as soon as I placed it. And I took 7-20. I put 5 units on Alberto Bettiol to beat Matteo Trentin, thinking that Trentin would fall away, which he did. But Bettiol also did, and was one of those ones I had to wait anxiously for them to come in. Unfortunately, Bettiol came in 5 minutes 12 behind, about a minute ahead of Trentin. So I made my money, but I can tell you it wasn't worth it. It wasn't a well-thought-out bet at all, and it was really just a bet of a guy maybe just looking for a bit of action on the stage at that stage. So fortunate to have got away with that one. Let's have a quick look at the outright betting. Very little change. We've got a 4-10 Primoz Roglic, a Pogačar 5-2. You can get 40-1 and better the balance there. It really does look a two-horse race at this stage. Jumbo-Visma just so strong. But Pogačar did show today in the final skirmishes up towards the finish line that he is definitely going to be trying things tomorrow. His team was also a bit more impressive today, although nowhere near the strength of Jumbo-Visma. And the other man who showed up today was Miguel Angel Lopez, who also attacked on the final 2-kilometer climb. Looked like he might get a few seconds in the end, but was pulled back. But does show that he's got pretty good legs, and he'll no doubt be using his Astana team to have a go on stage 17. Let's have a look at that profile and what an absolute beast it is. This is now the Queen stage, and this is really the stage where you think the guys that are either looking for podium positions or to possibly challenge Roglic have simply got to make their move. There's also mountains in the 18th stage, and of course we've got the final time trial, but this is really one where you've got to make it stick. So quite an interesting stage. This is a fairly flat introduction to the sprint at 45.5 Ks. There is a bit of an incline here, and I don't know. I don't think it'll be enough to shell a Bennett there if Bora do decide to keep things together. I think more than likely we're going to get a break, go a little bit earlier today. It'll be a bit of a battle to get into it, but nothing, I don't think, than what we saw on stage 16. So we'll get a break, go away. And I think you'll find the likes of Lander's team and potentially Pogačar's team try and make sure that there's no strong climbers in that break so that they can easily be pegged back later, because I do think that while Jumbo-Visma may not mind the break taking this and taking away the bonus seconds, I think the likes of Pogačar, Lander, and maybe and Lopez are going to want to challenge for the bonus seconds today. Interesting as well to see if the likes of Lopez managed to get any of these Astana riders into the break. Astana today, a number of their riders finished well back, and I can only assume that was team instructions. Save your legs, guys. You're going to be going hard tomorrow. So I am expecting Astana guys to potentially get into the break. Alternatively, they might just let the break go, and we could see some skirmishes on this first Col de la Madeleine, which is a massive climb, 17.1 kilometers at 8.4%. It's horse category, out of category climb. It's an absolute monster. And we could well see some of the GC contenders sending some guys up the road with the intention of perhaps bridging across to them on the final climb, which is an absolute beast, 21.5 kilometers at 7.8%. This one should really, really be worth watching. So you can see here we've got these two big out-of-category climbs. By the way, this second one counts double points on King of the Mountains. So you'll see in the King of the Mountains betting, it's quite likely that a Pogacar or a Roglic could win the King of the Mountains. And I actually hesitated today. You could have got 17-10 about both of them this morning, finishing in the top 3 of the King of the Mountains. I was going to back both. I hesitated. I thought I would wait and see what the terrain looked like today, but it's too late now. That price is well gone. They're both odds-on now to finish a top 3. But that's going to be a brute of a stage. As I say, a break will get clear, but I can't see this being fought out by anyone other than the breakaway. That being said, you'll see I've snuck a couple of long shots. By the GC guys. But that being said, I've snuck a couple of long shots in, just in case there's some hesitation, or perhaps someone like a Rogic or even a Pogacar doesn't feel at his best, and his team don't set the hectic tempo we expect. So I am looking for a little bit of betting interest there. Let's have a look at the stage betting. We've got Pogacar here at World Sports betting 22-10. Roland, this is the King of the Mountains betting, but it's actually very similar. But here we got Roland 3-1, Rogic 7-2. You can get 12-1 and better the balance. And here's the stage betting: Pogacar 22-10, Rogic 7-2, and you've got 14-1 Lopez. And I would love to see Lopez go well. I'm on him for the podium, but I don't know. Just struggling to see past these top 2. If I had to pick, I would go Pogacar at 22-10. WSB is probably the place to back in because you would get your money back if you run second. But for me at this stage, I'm going to wait for potentially in-running options when I look at those outright picks. But I am going to place a couple of, let's call them slightly long shot bets on the stage. So let's have a look at what I'm going to do. First up, guy that lost 27 minutes today, a CCC rider. I was very impressed with him the other day. Climbed well, and it's Hurt at 80-1 with World Sports betting. I think Hurt will be in the break tomorrow. If he doesn't get into the early break, he'll certainly go on this climb here. He looked to me as though he's got good climbing legs. I'm going to make the assumption that he, in fact, is saving himself for the stage. And as I say, I do expect a GC battle, but that's not to say the breakaway is absolutely no chance. So I am going to have a little interest in riders that I think might get into the break and could potentially have the strength to hold off the flying Jumbo-Visma team up the final climb. Another man who started to look a bit stronger is Hugh Carthy at 80-1 at Sunbet. So I'm going for him there. So two big prices there for me. You can see I'm just going a quarter unit on. Not looking to get too involved. Once again, we'll be looking at the in-running options. And then I am taking a half a unit treble. Enric Mas over Roberto Oran. He's quite short, Mas, but he does seem to be getting stronger as this tour goes on. Oran, I'm expecting him to have a bad day at some point. So I think Mas to beat him. Then I'll come back to the middle one, because then Lopez to beat Yates. Lopez also fairly short to beat Yates. I think Yates might also have a bad day at some point. But then the one that pushes the price out to 5-1, it's Quintana over Martin. That's obviously Guillemot. I don't pronounce his name, Martin, the Frenchman. Anyway, he's 11-5 at Sunbet to beat Martin. And Martin had a go today. He lost a bit of time in the end of the game. He did finish ahead of Quintana, but for me, Martin looks like a man who could be cracking at any stage. And Quintana has shown a habit in the past in Grand Tours of bouncing back from bad stages. So for me, I think the 11-5 is pretty big. If I do place it directly, I will post that in the Good for the Game forum. The link, by the way, is down below, and you can see what other punters fancy as well. But I do like that one. So that multiple works out at 5-1. Guys, this is a very interesting stage. It's going to be decisive as far as the yellow jersey battle goes. But one of those stages for me that I'm not getting too involved early from a betting perspective, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to really enjoy the stage. Perhaps one of my breakaway riders will be in contention, but my main interest here will be my 5-1 treble and hopefully shouting Pogacar onto the victory, because I have, of course, backed him at double figures prior to the start of the tour. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Join me for stage 18. That'll be on Thursday morning. looks another a mountainous stage, and we could have a few ambushes in store, but a lot is going to depend on what happens in stage 17.